Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good afternoon. My name is Abdul Muhaimin bin Abdul Latiff, currently attached to the Ministry of Energy and Natural Resources. I started my PhD journey back in March 2018 and completed in October 2021. My research topic is Project Governance Framework for Public Poverty Alleviation Projects in Malaysia. So today I would like to share my outcome of the research. So this is my presentation outline. Also, okay, basically I will start with the research background. We have started our National Development Plan back in 1957 through First Malaya Plan. And now we are in the 12th Malaysian Plan. A lot of projects and programs related to the poverty alleviation have been conducted by the government, which cost more than RM120 billion. However, related to the poverty alleviation projects or program success, there are issues encountered throughout the development journey. The main thing is that on how the public projects or program are managed. This is where project governance comes into the picture, where project governance practice is identified as a critical success factor for the delivery of the project. So consequently, the motivation of this research, if you can see that the poverty incident has declined back from 1970 until now 2020, where we have recorded around 8.4% of poverty incident. And also, if you can see that the poverty alleviation project budget also has increased from years to years. The research background has set the context of the research, where the statement of the problem basically start where evidence suggests that there are emerging challenges in poverty alleviation, and also governance practices in poverty alleviation projects are poorly understood, as well as the issues in linking the project governance and poverty alleviation. These three issues has led to the many poverty alleviation projects fail to meet the expectations due to the governance issues, which lead to the failure of project attainment, and the target groups will not be benefited from the project. So there are pressing needs to address a better understanding of project governance practices. Obviously, the problem statement become the basis of the development of research questions and research objective. For example, lack of knowledge and understanding of project governance lead to the first RQ, which is how project governance is practiced. New elements needed to address the weaknesses in the system, which lead to the second RQ, what are the embedded project governance elements that have been practiced. And number 3, straight transfer of a framework from one country or industry to another will not work, which lead to the third RQ, how the project governance elements found in the investigation could be formalized into a comprehensive project governance framework, or PGF. The research design. This research is basically a qualitative in nature, where there are 4 pillars of the research design. Of course, a review of literature is a must, whereby the outcome of the review of literature, I have developed the theoretical framework of the research. Next, I conducted exploratory study, which lead to the development of the conceptual framework. Case study is the main data collection strategy, where 5 case studies have been conducted to answer RQ1 and RQ2, which lead to the development of project governance framework draft. And the draft has been validated through focus group discussion, which answer RQ3 and lead to the development of final project governance framework. Basically, the review of the literature is about 2 main streams, which are governance and poverty. Subsequently, the link between project governance and poverty alleviation program was established through the derivation of project governance in poverty alleviation program. The theoretical framework. The development of theoretical framework, which is based on theoretical notion of this research, which is stewardship theory, has allowed to the establishment of 5 initial research propositions. First, the intrinsic motivation, which consists of trust and collaboration. Values are shared at the organization and project level. Collectivist culture, which puts the needs of the poor people ahead of their own needs. Stakeholder orientation, which emphasizes the effective delivery to the poor people. Empowerment, which provides flexibility to the projects to be carried effectively. For exploratory study, the purpose is to determine the current state of project governance practices. And basically, the results of exploratory study have contributed to the development of conceptual framework. The conceptual framework basically started from intrinsic motivation, again, which consists of element trust and collaboration, where element trust and collaboration influence the project governance elements as well as the project governance components. And the working definition of the research has been developed, whereby project governance basically is a set of values and a balanced structure that reflect the ability of the organization to select the best project that suits the organization's objective, manage the project efficiently, and ensure the project serve the intended stakeholder effectively. Basically, this is the main data collection strategy, which is case study. To answer the RQ1 and RQ2, the data collection has been conducted from May 2019 until January 2020. It started with the data collection entry interview to help for better design of case study protocol, input of cases selection, as well as serve as validation for interview questions. Apart from interview 31 informants, this case study research has also utilized document analysis, observation, field notes, and also research journal. All the data has been analyzed by using NVivo 12 Plus software through the template analysis for coding, categorizing, and also analyzing data. 5 case study, which are PPRT, Projek Perumahan Rakyat Termiskin, Projek Pemajauan Kawasan, Pasar Nelayan, Jalan Luar Bandar, as well as Projek Perumahan Rakyat. The research discovered several project governance practices which are divided into 3 main phases of project management cycle. During the project initiation and planning, there are 2 main practices which are comprehensive project planning and rigorous participant selection. During the project implementation, evidence suggests the utilization of government machinery system, which silos and uncoordinated activities among the project actors are still in existence. While the project handover and operationalization there are operation guidelines provided by the project authority, which included the participants' fulfillment on economic progress, which would enhance the poor people quality of life. There are 8 project governance elements has been discovered for RQ2, which are analyzed based on 10 propositions developed purposely for the cross-case study analysis. The most important things are there are common interplay among the project governance elements which are connected in a specific way, which in turn influence the project governance practices. The 8 elements are altruistic empathy, which consists of empathy to poor people life, as well as spirit to uplift the poor. Intrinsic motivation, again, which consists of trust and collaboration. Effective leadership, decision making, stakeholder management, accountability, and transparency of work process. Shared vision, where the vision are shared among the public officials, as well as the learning environment, which among others are the conducive environment for learning among the public actors. The development of project governance framework has been established based on the case study research findings, and the project governance framework has been validated through the focus group discussion, where again the focus group protocol has been established. So during the focus group discussion or FGD, there are 7 participants took part in the FGD, and there are mixture of management, technical, and academic. there are few activities that have been conducted, which are pre-FGD survey, focusing exercise, as well as panel discussion. And the qualitative data has been analyzed through the thematic analysis by utilizing NVivo 12 Plus software. This is the finding of research question 3. Basically, the project governance framework for this research is displayed, where it started from driving factors. The driving factors consist of altruistic empathy and intrinsic motivation. So, the driving factors basically drive 4 other main cluster, which are competency catalyst, stewardship-oriented governance principles, and supporting conditions. So, all elements created a value system which reflect the working definition of project governance in poverty alleviation projects. And the project cycles, the value system influenced the project cycle, which again consists of 3 main phases of project cycle: project initiation and planning, project implementation, and also project handover and operationalization. So this framework basically contribute to the good project governance practices and subsequently lead to the project outcome achievement. For conclusion, to sum up, this is basically a relational base of governance where it leans towards underlying patterns of human behavior, where project governance is informally practiced in the poverty alleviation projects. Altruistic empathy and intrinsic motivation as 2 main elements, they are significantly practiced and positively interplayed with 6 other elements, and also comprehensive project governance framework has been developed, which integrate between project governance practices and elements. The novelty of the research includes establishing the connection between project governance and poverty alleviation projects. I have expanded the list of elements that influence the practices of project governance, which is altruistic empathy. Recognize that poverty alleviation projects have different setup and motivation compared to other public projects, which are altruistic empathy and intrinsic motivation. And also, the project governance framework was designed to be generic in nature to enable easy applicable in the related public organization. Research contribution. So basically, in terms of body of knowledge, this research contribute to the research area, frameworks, and also methodology. So this is an important part to highlight in terms of practical application in the Malaysian public sector. In terms of public policy, this research basically established further integration of project governance within the public governance substance, where it could be embraced widely during the National Development Plan, including the 12 Malaysia Plan. Especially in the area of poverty, rural and regional development, affordable housing, education, and also health. In terms of public policy also, this research contribute to offer policy makers to iron out specific guidelines to guide ministries, departments, and agencies in terms of poverty alleviation projects and program. And there are also needs to establish of dasar anti-kemiskinan negara, which could include on how public projects related to the poverty alleviation could be managed by the public officials. In terms of delivery system, this research contribute to the utilization for better decision making across the project organization, whereby in public sector, the project could cut across around many organizations and agencies. Secondly, positive interplay is significant in adding value and guiding public officials to deliver the project effectively, whereby this is important to reduce the fragmentation, bureaucracy, and also silo mentality, which are still in existence. Number 3, to reinforce underlying project governance elements towards strengthening the delivery system. This research is important as an input for program pembasmian kemiskinan Tegar Keluarga Malaysia or BMTKM, which is currently being implemented by the government. So there are also needs for the government to ensure the machinery system, especially on the ground, are effectively managed to ensure that the plan or the objective of the projects could be achieved by the government, as well as to ensure that there are no more hardcore poverty among the Malaysian. In terms of research limitation and recommendation, basically there are the context of project governance framework could be explored in more wide area. Number two, public officials as the project actors is the limitation, whereby there should be consideration to include other significant stakeholders. This research is unrelated with the project outcome, whereby this research only study on the governance aspect. Next research could establish the connection between project governance practices and the outcome of the project. And the utilization of stewardship theory. This research limit on the stewardship theory, where further research could explore other theoretical lenses. This is my list of publication. There are 5 Scopus Index Journal and 1 article still under consideration. So basically, this is emotional stages of doing a PhD or running a marathon, whereby at the start or the beginning of the research, you have a quite adrenaline rush, and you are quite high spirit to complete your study. But along the way, when you start to develop your literature review, your framework, there will be time of doubt and anger, and you have to accept that you have to do something to ensure that you could climb back, to ensure that at the end of the day you could deliver or you could complete your research successfully. Thank you. And last but not least, financial support received from JPA throughout my PhD journey is gratefully acknowledged.